Fanspeak, where the plan runs deep. The team grind hard, don't eat, don't sleep. From best ball dreams to DFS streaks, they help you print money every single week. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits. NFL bets, yeah, we live this business. Meg and Steve, that OG vision. Draft room killers on a lifelong mission. More stress to the Sunday spread. Fanspeak's that voice that's inside your head. Best ball, DFS, NFL bets. They built it brick by brick, no regrets. Fanspeak team, printing money since day one. Fanspeak, forever.
Welcome back to another Lunchtime Best Ball, Talking Ball with Steve-O Speak. We have a lot to talk about. We're back in the underdog streets today. We are, BBM is filling slowly, but the puppy one is almost complete. I'm definitely not going to max this, but it's 87% complete. The Dachshund is over half now, almost 60%. Field General's creeping up, but a little behind, almost 50%. And, limb and weekly winners we're starting to see. I still need to do the Frenchie 3 regular filled. I did that on our 24-hour live stream. I still need to do my 2 Frenchie 3 with Superflex. And then we have the Pitbull, and that's what we're going to be doing today is Pitbull. I'd like to do 2 of them. Probably won't end up doing all these on stream, but I did my first one the other day. And we'll get to 2 of these in a minute. But the news, of course, centers around, which kind of broke when I was on stream yesterday, about Rashee Rice with the issue of invalid drug test and going back or having to serve his 3-day prison time. And then it also comes out very soon after that he just had a cleanup surgery. And while the cleanup surgery is minor, they said it's a 2-month recovery time. The first month of that is going to be in jail. I'm no doctor, but I'm going to say that's less than ideal. And there's just a lot there. Like, I know some people, like Drew Davenport was saying he didn't think there was a suspension risk. I don't know if that's true, given the legal side. And just, I also think the Chiefs might be close to done with him as well. So just a lot to think about there. Clearly still dealing with an injury. People have not been talking about that at all. He's going to be in jail. It's never ideal. And whether there's suspension or not, I just think there's a lot more questions than there are solutions here. And so, the high risk, high reward, I think he's got to fall. I think there's no question with that. Mike saying 3-4. Yeah. We got Meg checking in. Aiden will be back again. Appreciate that, Kicks. Meg did a really nice article on that. You can check it out on Substack. I'm going to have an article later this week. I have my rankings updated tonight, and then I'm going to be adding the Eliminator rankings for tomorrow, and then DraftKings at kind of the end of this week. So a lot going on, a lot to figure out. But let me, again, these rankings aren't updated yet. They will be up soon, but just looking at some high risk, high reward guys, just to break it down, kind of positionally. I think a couple that I point to is Kyler Murray. Quarterback-wise, Kyler Murray. He's going as quarterback 17. Again, this is a profile we typically take well into advance. Justin Fields was going, 10, 15, 20 spots higher in some cases last year. And he has never had the track record of Kyler Murray. He's never been remotely as good as Kyler Murray. Played on the Jets last year, and had one real good weapon in Garrett Wilson. Kyler Murray has a far better track record than Justin Fields. There's no question about that. He's playing on the Vikings with Kevin O'Connell. And his weapons are Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Juwan Jennings, TJ Hawkinson, like we're just night and day situation, and yet we're getting him at a nice little discount. Like when Fields tweaked his ankle in camp, then he would go sometimes around pick 100, but at this point last year he was going like 90ish. So I just think there's is there some risk with Keller? Sure, he has his own checkered injury history. He is coming off a couple more disappointing years, though those disappointing years, I should add, he was at least top 12 in points per game every single year, including last year. I believe he was 12th, if I'm not mistaken, obviously a very small sample. Really soon after, I'll point to two more. Tyler Shuck, quarterback 19. We got a half a year sample size of him, but the Saints, there's a lot of, it seemed like he built on that going forward. There's a lot to like, not only Olave and Juwan Johnson, but they go out and add Travis Etienne, Jordan Tyson, some other receivers and tight ends, like just much deeper, also fix the offensive line. Kellen Moore, we really like. So I just think there's a real upside case there. Could he fall flat on his face? Absolutely. We've seen this before with young quarterbacks where, maybe show a flash here or there, but then, reality sets in. And then finally, Malik Willis. On quarterback 21, again, this profile typically goes much higher. Now, Justin, just to compare it to Justin Fields, we obviously had a much better track record than Willis, but the snapshots we've gotten from Willis, we've seen the upside. Do I think it's going to be a week in, week out thing? No, but that's why you're taking him as quarterback 21. He shouldn't be your first quarterback. And honestly, I think you should pretty much be in 3 quarterback builds, but he offers an upside and a spike week potential that very few guys do. And I just think we need to keep that in mind. And, like people say, oh, well, he hasn't played a lot. Well, I mean, after Anthony Richardson's injury-filled and up and down rookie year, we were drafting him like the 5th round, 6th round, right? That's a guy who didn't play a lot going back to college. So, again, the discount here is what intrigues me. If he was going pick 70, I'm not taking Malik Willis, or even pick 80, I'd question it. But pick 131, even if he goes up to like 120, 115, I think there's just a lot there. You could say Daniel Jones is a little high risk, high reward. I want him just in like Colts builds. I'm not going to go over I want to be over my skis on him. So that's kind of it from a quarterback standpoint. Running back, I think the question is, to me, Amari and Hampton, I feel like there's 2 camps for him. I mean, the one camp who's like, what are we doing here? They have Mitchell, Vidal, he's injured. Like, what's the upside case? And then the other camp, and that's more where I'm at, is it's a former first-round pick who I think was well-deserving of first-round pick. He flashed plenty last year before he got injured in particular. And also when he came back, the Chargers offensive line was just absolute trash. The offensive line should be healthier. It's deeper. They even added some pieces like Tyler Biotish. And they brought in Mike McDaniel. What has Mike McDaniel done? Coached some really, really good running backs and just really great offenses in general. So you just have all the pieces, I feel, for Hampton to have a real explosion. The Chargers could be top 5, top 3. It's not. I don't think it should shock anyone if the Chargers have the number 1 offense in the league next year. And so in which case Hampton could be just a massive, massive value. Now, in the case that, he's just not right. The injury to me is not something that's going to be like chronic and a major issue, but just in that case, or it is a 3-man backfield, then maybe it's a little price too high, but he's probably at least a 3rd round pick, 4th round pick. Like, I don't think the floor is that low, but I think he kind of falls in this category. 2 guys that I think really fall in this category are back-to-back here, and that's Cam Skattebo and Travion Henderson, 2 second-year guys, both flashed plenty. Skattebo was obviously injuries that slowed him down. Henderson, it was the team didn't fully commit to him, fully trust him. Stevenson definitely had the lead back role, but we saw his explosive ability. We saw his upside. I think the big question is, does he get enough of the passing game? I'm not really expecting him to lead the team in carries. But if he gets enough of a passing game, the spike week potential is just massive. And then Cam Scatterbo, okay, he can't do math, but I'm not worried about the injury. It happened early enough. I know some people were debating about people coming back from this injury in the past on Twitter. I think they looked at it wrong. Like I'd have to really look through that thread, so I don't want to comment too much. But I know Tony Pollard was cited. Well, guess what? Tony Pollard had a 1,000-yard year the next year. I think we'd be more than happy if Scatterbo. And let's just look at Tony Pollard, because that was 3 years ago that he came back from it. 2023, he had 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, 311 receiving yards, 55 catches, 0 receiving touchdowns. He was just light in the touchdown department. And people would say it was a down year because the year before he was very strong in the touchdown department. He had 12 touchdowns. Everything else was really similar. I know the yards per carry and yards per catch were down, but some of that was because he was more of a lead back versus splitting the role with Zeke the year before. And yeah, I think he started a little slow, but if Cam Scatterbo puts up these numbers and adds just a couple more touchdowns, which I don't think is crazy considering that he's much more of a touchdown guy than Tony Pollard ever has been or ever will be. I mean, he had 7 touchdowns in about half a year last year. Then that's a smash for the value. Like, I know Cam Scatterbo said 2,000 yards. He doesn't have to do 2,000 yards, even combined yards, to be effective. And I just think people are sleeping on this situation. We know Harbaugh. We know what they've done, adding tight ends, adding fullbacks, adding to their offensive line. I think they're serious about Cam Scatterbo being the feature guy. While Tyron Tracy has some strengths, he's just not going to threaten that role. So I just think there's a lot of upside here. You can make a similar case to Judkins. The difference is, of course, while the Giants might not have a top 5, top 10 offense, they could be middle of the pack. I think it's a stretch that Cleveland finishes above offense 25. So Judkins and Judkins doesn't have the pass catching ability, plus his injury happened like 6 weeks later. So there's just a few more negatives there that I would point to. Let me just have chat. What up? Good to see Hartman. Bobberts, Scat the Dominator of Tacos. WFN Warehouse, Gary Rice. Yeah, Rice is, we got Emo in here. Good to see Emo. Always good to talk to Emo. Hartman, yeah, and this is the other thing. Pollard got hurt in the playoffs. I think it was, week 1 of the playoffs. Scatterbo got hurt mid-year. We're talking months of difference. It's the same as, Charbonnet was even later than Pollard, but it's the same why we don't judge like Charbonnet's, ACL the same as a player who got hurt mid-year. I just think there's just not a lot to compare to. As for other high risk, high rewards, I know some people would put like Bashal Tutin in the mix. I'm just a little bit more wary of it. I don't think there's a high risk for Rico, so I love that. I do think RJ Harvey carries that high risk, high reward, just how he carves out the 3-man backfield. And then it's the Washington situation, I really feel like, because it's probably one of JCM and Rashard White are going to be really good for their ADP. The other one, maybe not so much. Now, they both could be if Katron Allen is just a 0. But that's kind of how I view it. Later, I don't think there's a ton of like upside swings. I mean, I know we're kind of waiting on this news on Alvin Kamara. If he's playing, I think he's a great value. Some of these rookies have fallen so much, like Emma Johnson and Mike Washington. I think they carry some values, but they're just not in the same department of being like truly high risk, high reward. And then just real quick, receivers. We already talked about Rice. Malik Neighbors, it's the injury situation. I think similar to Rice, both their ADPs need to significantly fall. So, I'm just a little more out on. I think the real guy who kind of fits this bill is Luther Burden, because he's priced up. He's priced up as the Bears wide receiver 1. And there's a chance he hits that. There's a chance he takes over like the Amon-Ra role in this offense. If so, we know that's a very, very valuable fantasy role. Now, Rome Odunze is lurking there. And so I guess the better way to put it would be the Bears receivers. It feels like one is going to be just a home run pick and the other is just going to feel a little too expensive, would be my guess. And if it's Burden, then it becomes just kind of really expensive because you're paying like a round more for him. The guy that I really point to, though, is DJ Moore. I know people think he's, down after these last 2 years, but I really think he could go back to this 2023 year. He just dealt with a rookie quarterback and then just an offense where he wasn't the clear-cut guy anymore. He's going back to being the clear-cut guy like he was in 2023 with the best quarterback he's ever played with. And, Ben Johnson's really good this past year, but he's been a part of some bad offenses. I mean, Joe Brady, he's been with them before, but he's had some bad offenses to deal with also. The other one I would point to in this kind of range would be Brian Thomas. We're projecting back to his rookie year, this year two, just not great. So if he can get 80% of his rookie year, 90% of his rookie year, he is smashing his ADP. What do you think about the comment from Dave Klug saying Odunze is going to be the sacrificial X receiver? I just don't know what the basis of that is. Early in the year, Rome Odunze was the number one option on the team, and then he got hurt. And then I do think he had a couple games where he was being trotted out there as a sacrificial X. I think this is Ben Johnson. He will scheme up. He will find the best matchups and, go from there. But I think if you're basing it off of what happened last year, I think it was mainly due to him getting banged up. You saw a big drop off in production and then, of course, missing games. And also now DJ Moore's gone. They didn't replace him with anyone of any significance. And not only is DJ Moore's gone, so is Zacchaeus. Like, all the targets should flow to these three guys, like Loveland, Odunze, and Burton. So, yeah, I just don't buy what in his profile, what he did last year with Ben Johnson. And also Ben Johnson doesn't really have sacrificial X. Like, Jameson Williams is just going downfield and getting the ball. You know what I mean? Like, and Odunze can do more than Jameson Williams. They just have different skill sets of receivers. So, and from a fantasy perspective, Odunze, one of the things that makes Amon-Ra so great is for a small receiver, he is excellent in the red zone. He gets in the red zone and he acts like he's Devontae Adams. Odunze and Burton, I think, actually has some of that in him. But the part of the issue for the Lions is receiver-wise, it's been a lot of smaller guys like Khalif Raymond, Jameson Williams, some other guys like that. Obviously, Tesla changed that dynamic a little bit last year. They had Josh Reynolds as well in the past, but and of course Ben Johnson wasn't still there last year with Tesla. But I just think Odunze can just be a big touchdown weapon as well. We got Peanut in here. We got Huhames in here. Good to see you guys. Never liked Klug's analysis. Yeah, I just think it's hit or miss, and I'm not sure if it's really geared towards best ball, to be quite honest. And I think that's something to keep in mind with some of these like overall fantasy people. Not to say they're wrong, but I think they're playing a different game than we are. Yeah, I agree with this Coolers. Like, there's just way too much talent here to be a sacrificial X. Saw you. Yeah. Well, and again, like, I don't really do a lot of traditional managed best ball or managed fantasy anymore. So I don't really consume a lot of that content. He might have been dead on, like he might be dead on with like weekly rankings, start sits, things like that. But that's not the game we're playing. This is where I'm at, like 10, 12 plus touchdowns easily. Yeah. And I think Burton could lead in catches. So if we were talking like a full point PPR, maybe that changes the dynamic. Maybe Burden is just eating catches, but only has like 6 touchdowns. But Odunze has, 10 or 11. Well, the extra, half point for PPR because Burden got X number of more catches could be enough, and the yards. But in half point PPR, usually the touchdown later is going to dominate points. Yeah. Is like sacrificial X is like round 4 or 5 height, weight, speed guys who aren't refined, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, and sometimes we get over the top on it because it's all about value. Like Romeo Doubs has been like a clear hit, sacrificial X for a good chunk of his career, but he was also like I think Matt Harmon would say he's 10% better than expected, and that keeps him on the field. And keeps him, like truly better than being a sacrificial X. But also Matt Harmon, I saw when he went to the Patriots, talked about like Doubs has grown every single year. And I think sometimes we get overly committed to some of these labels where it just doesn't, it's not true. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, just simply not true. That all, like, yes, Matt Collins is a sacrificial X. A lot of these guys can just be good if it's at the right price. Sounds like FK is a Rome stats burner account. Oh my God. We got Steven WC in here. I don't know the specific post, but Klug farms engagement a lot. Yeah, there is that too, where it's trying to get clicks and start conversations and then say, oh, I was just talking. Well, okay. Who saying I have less Odunze than I expected I would, but I have almost 0 burn. Well, I know you're high in Loveland, so that's probably the factor there. Also, like I know who Hames is going heavy on Loveland, which I get. I think Loveland definitely at cost. Loveland over McBride, easy. Like that's a snap call for me. Yeah, I agree with this. Aiden here seems like out of all the prices, everyone's expecting a huge leap for Loveland. Looked like it was Caleb's favorite target. Feels like opportunity cost if you go Burned in 4th a lot. Yeah, I don't discount Loveland being a major target. What I do want to point to is Rome was banged up when all this was happening. I'm with you, Index. Totally with you. That's why I just like to give my opinions, and I'll easily give the reason why, and I'll debate the points as I think we've seen here. Good to see Crossface, grinding being right, and then winning for being right is why I'm here. One of us, Index, one of us. We got Leon here. That's greetings in English. Appreciate you. Sacrificial X has come. Oh yes, this is what I was saying. Ben runs West Coast principles. I've worn out Sean Payton's philosophy. A lot of crossing patterns. See Cortland Sutton for Odunze's role. Completely agree. I've heard people try to say Cortland Sutton is going to be a sacrificial X this year for Jalen Waddle. And it's like, no, this is not happening. Is Rice a do not click? I mean, for me, he is. Like, I clicked him 0 in pre-draft. And then I started clicking him again. And now I regret all of that. And let's get into the draft. Basically, the other people I was going to say, and I don't want to, if I have to talk about tight ends, I have to talk about George Kittle more. So I'm not going to do that. If Meg's lurking. But the other ones are the free agent receivers, of course, like Diggs and Debo were. I think there's a little risk, but they have just massive upside. The risky ones are, of course, the Ayuks and the Tyreek Hills and stuff like that. So we're going to jump into Pitbull and get this started. I'm going to enter in 10 seconds, and in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. I only get my kiddo updates from Wifed Up, Mic'd Up. I mean, at this point, Meg needs to go on Wifed Up, Mic'd Up. I mean, she's like the #1 promoter of the show. though. I worry that Mrs. Kittle would put a restraining order on her. All right. So we got Fantasy Stock Exchange in here. I don't know if that's Trevor Sycamore. I'm in the 10th spot, Peanuts in the 11th. That is all I see in here. Let me know if I got that wrong. All right, this draft is about to start. Best source out there, FK. Sorry, Crossface. So I'm sitting at 10, usually back there. Maybe your receiver's still there, but probably going running back, obviously. And for this contest, you know, the 2 of 12, like that, in many ways, that's the most important. You know, 2 of 12, 1 of 6, you know, those are the exact same advance rates since 1 of 5. I think I got that right. Yeah, so that's even a better advance rate. So getting out of this 2 of 12 is most important. Hopefully it's Peanut and I advancing. And so, you know, I'm going to prioritize like really having, you know, not too thin any bye weeks, not, you know, not too many risky guys. Like, yes, I of course want to do well. If this team advances, we will go Justin Jefferson here. But you know, getting out of the pod to me is crucial for a tournament like this. Hartman, does the Rice stuff make you interested in any of the really late Chiefs wide receivers? Sorry if you already said. So I think my issue is there's just so many veterans out there still that could find work. And I don't mean Ayuk, and I don't mean Tyreek Hill, which, look, Tyreek Hill might be part of the solution if Rice were to totally fall, but I don't think he is the solution. Let's go Saquon. I'm talking more, of course, Diggs, Debo, and to a much lesser extent, but I think still viable, is Keenan Allen. These guys can fit the slot primary, you know, Rice's primary slot role very well. And just offer a lot in general, upside and another clear good target for Mahomes. I think the other side of it, you know, is then I think if that happens, then I think it's going to be tough for like a Jalen Royals, who is probably the primary option to fill in on the team. So I just don't think it's really worth it to go Jalen Royals right now. As for like a Tyquan Thornton or the rookie Cyrus Allen, you know, you can take some 18-round darts, but I again worry any true veteran additions are gonna, you know, start to thin that out a little bit. And at the very least, I wouldn't be surprised if Juju's back. In the past, Juju has actually filled in pretty well for the Rice role, so I would not be surprised there. And then the other side is if it is truly like suspended or they're cutting him, I really think the Chiefs are going to go out and make a move. I don't know if it's AJ Brown, but it could be. Yeah, I know people throwing around Brian Thomas. I don't know. I feel something could happen. You know, another low key target could be like a Jalen McMillan from the Buccaneers, who can play the slot, can do a lot of similar things. He's played well, and they have Chris Godwin and Mbuka already for that role. Tez Johnson also in the mix, and of course Ted Hurst is like they're kind of like one true outside guy, so like outside X guy. So I just could see some trades being in the works or something. So taking an 18th round shot here or there on those guys, I think is fine, but I just wouldn't want to like just start smashing it. And probably even more so for just like the puppy or stuff like that, where the risk is less. Like if you take, you do 20 more puppy drafts and you're like, oh, I'm going to mix in these 3 late Chiefs, that's fine. But honestly, I think the big target is just keep getting on Worthy and Kelsey more and more right now, because they're probably the most primary beneficiaries, and no matter who is added or not added, it's not going to drastically affect them at their current ADP prices. NFL Stock Exchange. You're right, Aiden. Good call. Love my Worthy bags for this news. Yeah, and I love my Kelsey bags. I mean, these 2 guys operate in the same area of the field. Kelsey's touchdown role has honestly been a little less these last couple of years. Guess who could be going out in style with 10 plus touchdowns? Travis Kelce. Yeah, let's go Kyron. I just said I want consistency. Hard to get more consistent than Kyron Williams, especially a 3rd round pick. So I think Javante's fine here. Buka's okay. I don't know about T-Mac. I'm going to pull up Scatterboo for this. I want to be running back heavy. I just talked about like the upside case for him. It's 3 running backs, 3 different buys, plus Justin Jefferson. That can be a lot of fantasy points right there. Paulino, what up, Steve? Sounds like the situation was a surprise for Rice, let alone the Chiefs. If they signed Diggs, for example, could tell us they and not to count on Rice going forward. Yeah, no, I agree. And if they just sign Juju, then it's probably like, okay, we're going to stick by Rice, and if there's any suspension, whatever. But yeah, they go out and sign Diggs or Debo or Keenan Allen, because those guys are only going to sign with a role. Like they're not going to just sit there to do nothing. So yeah, I tend to agree, like who they sign, or of course if they make any sort of big trade, like if they trade, let's say AJ Brown goes to the Patriots and they trade for Kayshon Boutte, that could still mean Rice is in the mix, especially because they're not like a clear similar role. But if they trade for like more of a slot guy, like a Jalen McMillan, or I'm trying to think of somebody else who might be available. That could definitely be an indication, that things are different. Another, I don't know how to view them, but the Titans don't seem to need Chimere Dike too much anymore. Let's liven up those pre-draft best ball bags of a slot receiver, Chimere Dike. That could be fun. Oh God, that early Kelsey price was just insane. I just need the year 3 wide receivers to bounce back. You're in a stream draft. Scatterboo Bolster. They had to switch minds, Mike. Yeah, see Aaron Rodgers incoming. It's also for the type of contest. Like, I want to be more running back heavy in this type of contest. It's 100K up top. Let's get as many of these pit bulls through. And I think the best way to do that is to be very strong at running back, especially when I went with an alpha receiver. Lamar is interesting. Lamar is very interesting. I'll take, it's a little fall, but again, for this type of contest, having like an elite quarterback, I think is very strong, because it's just easier to push my way to the top two. Peanut goes Burrow. I'm going to go Tate. Thomas stuff is just a little murky. Tate, I really think can be, really stack targets this year. So I think there's an upside case for Tate. All right. Go to the board and then I'll get back to chat. So the annoying part is Rice was a PPR scam in an offense with no other legit competition, and nothing has truly changed. Yeah, and I mean, in fact, you could argue it's even thinner because Marquise Brown, had 700 yards or whatever. He's gone. I will say, Kenneth Walker does maybe operate a little bit more. That could take some stuff from Rice anyways as well. But yeah, and particularly on full point PPR sites like Rice made sense to be pulled up some in DraftKings and drafters. But boy, I'm getting this draft tossed out with the outlandish Scatterboo pull up. Maybe DK can jump really. Yeah, I mean, he could. It's just, I think is clear to me. And Brian Dable, and I think Williams was maybe the one who brought this to my attention. Somebody did. Brian Dable made comments, well after I started draft, like before free agency, that we need to get multiple receivers in for Cam Ward, which doesn't sound great for any incumbents. And at that time, I really thought they were cutting Ridley as well. They obviously don't. They signed Wandale, which makes all the sense in the world, and of course go and draft Carnell Tate. So could they keep DK around, especially for his special teams ability? Yeah, but at the same time, it's a new head coach, offense coordinator. They could, if they get offered Chiefs offer a 5th round pick. They spent a 4th 2 years ago on DK. Like, Titans might just say yes. So, I mean, that was a little bit more out there, but I was just thinking of a more deeper wide receiver room and guys who could be maybe a bit more available. Still feels like a fever dream that Hollywood is ready to run. Wind sprints for Jalen Hurts feels like a Madden sim sometime. Can't argue that. Mega is lurking. Very proud of you for the Scatterboo pick and pull up. Very disappointed in my Scatterboo stream draft numbers that he shared in Discord. I have to get those up. Oh boy. All right. So about up at 132. Again, this is a pit bull, so I do change my approach a bit. But I'm just going to take Rico. Let's just dominate. And also, week 15, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. Again, that's the second most important week. I know the finals is over 100 some people, but I want to get to the finals. You get one of these to the finals, you get 2.5 times your max entry money back. And of course, have the upside to play for 100K. So I understand how people look at it, like all the money is in the finals. I also look at it like, how do I get there? And to me, the path through is, of course, being as strong as possible in the regular season and get as many of these teams through to the playoffs, because I think the playoffs will be, if they're well-built teams, can be a lot easier to get through in a tournament like this. Boy, do not like this range at all. You just take Trevor Lawrence. We'll just be really good at quarterback. Can obviously take like Strange later, or maybe Jacoby Myers gets back to me. The Addison thing, I think this is a little rich for him. And Michael Wilson, I think it's rich for him. I moved him down to 99. QJ, not in on at this price. Like I said, Jacoby Myers comes back. I think that's viable. And if I don't get a good stack with Lawrence, I'm not going to care. I just think there's enough fantasy upside to help push me through. Agreed. That's where I'm at. Like, I just, for a while there, I was taking, particularly right after the draft when they didn't draft anyone, I was taking Addison a good chunk. But now it just feels like, not that Addison is dead or anything, but he probably should go down 15, 20 spots. So Nelson Sousa in a best ball draft take his favorite running back Brown in the early second and Scab in the early fourth. Scary, don't have that much Scab. Well, good news is, Leo, there's plenty of time. Unlike other guys, including Rashee Rice, even if he wasn't in jail, Rashee Rice wouldn't be participating in camp, right? Like, but Scadaboo, everything sounds good. Kyler's history of short outside receivers isn't great either. Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping Kevin O'Connell finds a way. To me, good coaching. And, Andrew Wiley was filling in for Justin Burney the other night on Best Ball Buttheads. And, he talked about coaching being important. There was another stream I was listening to. I think it was maybe Neil and, who did he have on yesterday? Name is escaping me, but I think they talked about the importance of good coaching, and it to me it's just true. Like coaching and systems can mean a lot. Obviously, like quarterback play, and we see what Justin Jefferson means quite a bit. But if you can meet a minimum threshold, hence why Carson Wentz. Justin Jefferson would have had like a 1,500-yard year. If you extrapolate Carson Wentz's 5 games for the entire year, that's great. That would have put him in the mix for a top 3 wide receiver, depending on the touchdown run out. Bad quarterback was the issue last year. I don't think it was bad system. I think the system allowed Carson Wentz, who was quarterback 40 in the league, to get Justin Jefferson to fantasy relevancy. J.J. McCarthy and Max Rosmer had him in fantasy purgatory. So probably taking one of these 2, less than on Golden with the Downs pick. If that gets taken, I'll probably go Pittman. I think I'd go, I think I'd go Ricky. Maybe Pittman comes back to me at 111. He does not. Don't think I need to go Purdy here. I mean, it'd be a value, but don't think I have to do it. I think I will go. I'm going to go Romeo Doubs. I like Concepcion for a higher upside. I think Doubs is a better floor. And this, I feel like floor is a little bit more important. especially as my fourth wide receiver. So I'm seeing a 2-4-4. I think this, particularly for this kind of contest, a very fine way to approach the top 10 rounds. Lock up 2 good quarterbacks, 4 strong running backs that you feel really good about, 4 strong receivers. Ideally, with these 4 strong running backs, they're handling the flex basically every week. That means these 4 receivers are handling the 3 positions. Obviously going to tack on a couple more, but that means I'm not counting on the flex from this group. So when people, look and, oh, you're thin at receiver. No, I'm not. Like Carnell Tate can easily be a wide receiver 2. Pearsall easily a wide receiver 3. Romeo Dubs can fill in as needed. That's the way I look at it. Yeah, the Cornfall. If I didn't already have 4 running backs, I would have snapped that up. Or did he? Kelsey get pulled up. I was wondering if he'd get back to me. He does not. Honestly, probably would have been a good call for me to pull up Kelsey for this tournament. Yeah, he went in between us. So still a few picks away. You could approach it a couple different directions. And coming into the 11th round. All right. We got Mike checking in. Good to see Mike. Leo, Antonio Williams is a wild card if the Commanders don't pick up any veterans. He looks the part. Agreed. And one thing I'm trying to keep in mind with that is, again, David Blau technically comes from Ben Johnson, right? He literally was coached by him. He played under him a couple years ago. So there's a lot of talk that he wants to incorporate a lot of what he learned then into his offensive style, offensive system. That's a system that does really promote slot receivers. So I think Antonio Williams could be a good fit. So let's make these picks. I think I might prioritize Andrews just in case. So this is tough because I don't think I need Malik Willis. I do like him. But I don't know if this is the contest that I'm going to be in on Malik Willis. I think I am going to go Coker here. Get my 5th wide receiver. Viewing it as these 5 covering 3 spots. They all have different buys, so that means there's always going to be 4 live. Same with my running backs. This is a very strong, buy team. Obviously, there's some overlap between the positions, like Week 11 Rams and New England. But I'm always going to have 3 running backs available, 4 receivers available of these guys I'm drafting early. Got my what I think can be an alpha tight end still, Mark Andrews, who's also stacked up. So that feels really good. So I like how this team's coming together overall. I feel like the 160 to 216 range is amazing to catch up a wide receiver tight end. I felt that way and was wrong the last 3 years, but I feel it again. Well, and this is the thing. Like, this is the range. Like, there's a handful of still starting quarterbacks, but and many of those have questions. Like we don't know if they're all starting all year. But these running backs now are all, even sorting by ADP, are all just clear backups or number threes. Like Keaton Mitchell, honestly, is probably the number 3. I mean, he might get into the game second, but I just don't believe if Hampton were to go down, Mitchell is having an expanded role. Maybe I'm totally wrong on that. But these are all clear 2s or 3s, and just down the list. And very few of them have a path to even contend for a bigger role. Receiver, on the other hand, like the number 1 receiver for Vegas, maybe Trey Tucker, but maybe Jalen Naylor. Potential number 2 receivers out here. We'll see where some of these free agents goes. If they are number 3s, it's like a 3 with a really good potential touchdown role, like Tesla or Ridley, the veteran. So just guys that we know are going to be on the field, and yeah, we're not expecting like 10 usable weeks out of them, but would you be shocked if I think the Browns are a terrible offense, but would you be shocked that Jerry Jeudy at 181 can hit your lineup 3 times? No. Same with Flournoy, same with Bernard, same with Trey Harris, Mooney for sure. Some other guys down later. Cooper Kupp. This has been my thesis on Cooper Kupp the entire time. It's his ability to hit your lineup just 3 times for 17th, 18th to 20th round in those kind of drafts. That's all it takes. So quarterback is thinning. But I do like Jalen Naylor. I think I go Bryce Young. I just took the Coker bet, so let me take that. Maybe Peanut and Crumbs aren't taking them, but I want a third quarterback for these kind of builds, these kind of teams. There's 1 or 2 left here, like Rodgers. Geno's okay, but I think it's the fact that it's stacked up makes it a little bit better. Naylor and Debo, obviously, we've been 2 picks, but if I go Antonio Williams or Boston, that's fine. I can want a second tight end. I'll go Antonio Williams. The bring back to Jacksonville, though I don't have any Jacksonville stack, but I'm not too worried about that. But I do think him and Boston both have a chance to be wide receiver 2 on their teams. Now Boston is more of a touchdown role, but Antonio Williams should be playing on the far better offense. So that was kind of the tiebreaker for me. And just in general, I want to get more Antonio Williams because I took a pretty big pre-draft stand on Boston. And I don't hate it because he was never going too high, even though his second round still got to find draft capital, etc. Mike, nice looking team. I think Romeo has some sneaky upside. Guys had a few monster games. Yeah. Well, and just a guy, like you said, his monster games. Why? Because he's actually pretty good in the red zone. Like, is he Cortland Sutton, Devontae Adams in the red zone? No, but he's kind of like the next tier of guys in the red zone. It's kind of his calling card. So can he have a game or 2 where he stacks 2 touchdowns? He's done 3 before. Like, sure, why not? Especially when paired with Drake May. Like, I like Jordan Love, but Drake May is an upgrade. And even with A.J. Brown, his situation is probably more of an upgrade. Raiders love Trey Tucker leadership and work ethic. Yeah, no, I get it. And I think the top 2 wide receivers are Naylor and Tucker. We'll see who truly, and it could end up being very flat between the 2 of them. But no, I have good percentages of both. I want to continue to have good percentages of both because we're taking, I know Bowers in here, Bowers could be tight end 1 and still not necessarily lead the team in receiving production. That's an extreme, probably. But we saw just a couple years ago where tight end 1 was what, like 12.4 points, 12.5 points, something like that. Bowers could do that, and we could see Naylor or Tucker have like 12.8 points, 13 points, and be like wide receiver 18, 20, somewhere in that ballpark. Again, probably the extreme. Bowers probably is their number 1 pass catcher. Even if not, even if he is, and whether he's number 1 getting 18 points per game or 12 points per game, Naylor and Tucker can very easily pay off those ADPs. I don't mind Spears. I think I need to go tight end first. They both have the same bye. That's unfortunate. I'm going to take Pat Fryermuth. Has 2 playoff correlations. I like Helm a lot. I want to get my Helm percentage up. Could be taking another tight end here. A few receivers I like. It feels like I can wait on my 6th or my 7th. Boy, I wish we had some clarity with that situation. Yeah, I'm going to go Kate Otten. I think, particularly in this kind of contest, offers floor. I think Fryermuth has some spike upside. Of course, Andrews is the guy for this team. This Alvin Kamara thing, and maybe I should have just pulled up Katron Allen. I probably should have, now looking back at it. This Alvin Kamara thing is frustrating, this whole decision coming soon. I would be shocked, but maybe, again, maybe something comes out like the knee is really bad or something. But in terms of how they handled it 3 months ago with restructuring him, and even the comments that he made, it felt like he was coming back. So maybe there's been some setback. Maybe new scans came out, or something. It's just not healing right. So that'd be very unfortunate. So I am gonna hesitate on him for a bit, and I will be moving him down the rankings that come out later today. So I love the Devo pick, but particularly for this contest, to take both Ayuk and Tyreek Hill, I think that's a lot of risk. You could quickly have 5 receivers, even if Devo gets a great landing spot. And I don't know if they're planning on taking any more receivers, but you could quickly have 5 receivers on this team. And I just don't know, what is that kind of upside buying you? Especially when you already have guys like Ladd and Zay and Watson. Like the receivers should be fine. And it's one thing if we're talking about like a puppy or a BBM, because you're just ultimately swinging for the fences. But this with the good advance rates, I would prioritize that more than anything. Do you think soon the teams want to give him the summer, see if he acts up. Long haul Trey Tucker. Diggs. Yeah, I mean, Diggs, he's not the model citizens, but I think he's a hard worker. I mean, like people made such a big deal about the boat thing last year. 2 days later, he's at camp, and at the same time is when the Athletic beat reporter was saying he's starting pup, and he's out there the crispest running drill, crisp running drills and all that. So I think he actually is a hard worker. Obviously, there's some few off the field things for him. So I went Mooney there as my last receiver. I think this late, given just the situation that we're hearing, I think it's a fine option. Running back, unfortunately, is just really thin. I might go with a more handcuff guy just because I feel confident enough in my top 4. We'll have to see what gets back to me. So anyways, but yeah, I kind of expect Diggs to sign soon. Definitely right after the AJ Brown domino falls. I mean, he already got his legal, case out of the way. It doesn't seem like the NFL is going to suspend from everything I've seen. Sometimes there's a surprise there, but it doesn't seem it's going to go that way. Don't love this pick, but Malik Davis, I think there's a real shot he's Cowboys RB2. I like Ollie Gordon to be RB2 better, but I just think it gives you a little bit more upside. So let me catch up with chat, and then we'll review these teams. Jeff, I'm very disappointed in Rashee. Diggs about to have that Allen Robinson 2021 season. He's a well-traveled 32-year-old. The thing I'll say is, like, he continues to produce. His first, before he got injured in Houston, he was like a top 12 receiver. For the 6-7 weeks that he was there or healthy. Then last year, he was a top 20 receiver with the Patriots. So it's not like we've seen a true fall off in production from him, to be honest. So I do give him that. Am I allowed to bash Rashee if I'm stoned during my drafts? Yes, because you can draft and be stoned. What you can't do is what Rashee did, be on probation and get stoned. Particularly when you're, trying to rehab from a surgery and, trying to reestablish yourself into the league's good graces. There's just 1,000 reasons not to do it. This is not a weed marijuana thing. Who cares? And not whether or not it should be legal or not. It doesn't matter. It's prohibited. It's just like, does it matter when players miss curfew when they're on the road? No, it shouldn't. They're grown men. They should be able to do that. But there's a reason that you have these team rules. And that's why you'll see teams suspend a guy or not start a guy a certain week for that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff. To me, he just put himself at such risk. And I look at it like the Chiefs put a lot invested into him by not drafting a receiver in the first round or the second round or the third round. I think they made it clear that they believed in him, and then this happened. So not a great look all around. Aiden saying, Rodgers told reporters today he will retire after the season. This is it per Schefter. Wow. Go out with a bang. Yeah. And I think it makes sense. The Mike McCarthy one last ride for Rodgers as well. Makes a lot of sense. I'm a great guy. Rice. Yeah. I've been taking a lot of Mooney due to neighbor situation. I'm with you, Leo. Wasn't really taking it early on, but now I'm going to catch up. As long as the price stays this late, I'm going to catch up. The They're going to regret not taking a wide receiver. I tend to agree. The Chiefs. Year 2, Pat Bryant slants will be fire with Waddle getting the number 1 cover guy. Yeah, I mean, it's just obviously Sutton and Waddle. The third receiver for Denver actually should be pretty good because right now their tight end probably has no passing volume. It just matters that Bryant, is that Troy Franklin, is it a split? How does it go? That would be good. I'm just a drink guy, but I don't judge. No, it's not for me, but I definitely don't judge anyone. All right, let's review my team and Peanuts team real quick. 3-5-7-3, Lamar, Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, 3 quarterbacks, 3 different buys, kind of spread down the board a bit. But I think it's a very strong quarterback room. Running back room, Saquon, Kyron, Cam Scatterboo, Rico, Malik Davis. A little later for my 5th. I would have liked somebody earlier, but I just never felt I could get in a good position. But I was so happy with taking those 4 running backs as I did. I think I can dominate the running back position, relatively speaking. And also the bye weeks. I mean, none of them had the same bye, but especially those top 4, always should have 3 of those available. Same with wide receiver. I think I was pretty, I took an anchor with Justin Jefferson. To me, a big upside shot in Carnell Tate. I think Ricky P, Romeo, 2 guys, top tier offenses, even if they're the number 2s, presumably with the A.J. Brown trade. Plenty of upside and opportunity to pay off these ADPs. Add in, and this is, I know people would look at this and say, oh my God, you only got 2 receivers in the top 100. Honestly, I'm very fine with how this receiver room turned out. I think Jalen Coker is a nice floor play as well. Very fine for his ADP. Tony Williams, his ADP is getting maybe a little rich, but I'm okay in this kind of build. Again, another guy who can just offer floor. Then Mooney is probably more the spike week guy. And, as was mentioned, the Malik Neighbors stuff is just not looking great. And even if this is one of those things where he's just kind of covering me early, it can be a good thing. I have 2 rookies who might get a slower start. I got a Romeo Dubs changing teams that could maybe get the slower start. So Mooney offers just some more volume early because Neighbors is, on PUP or returning from the injury slowly. So that's fine. Tight end room, Mark Andrews, obviously love him in general. Even more so with Lamar, and so pick 130 feels good. Pat Freiermuth, I pulled him up a bit, but I think he is going to start going up more with the Rodgers news clearly there. And then Kate Otten. So I was it's not like I was totally deliberate on the buys, but I wanted them spread out enough. That is another way to consistently only have 1 or 2 guys on buy in a given week. That means I'm going to have most of my team available. And that also means when I do have, a couple injuries, missing a few games here or there, then I'm still very covered. We've all had teams where because of buys, because of some injuries, you are out there starting your last 3 receivers and you're getting 12 total points from the 3 of them. The idea and thesis of this team is not to allow that to occur. Can it still occur? Yes, obviously, like enough injuries pile up or whatever. But overall, I like the thesis, how this team came together. And, I think it's very live to advance in this. We got Peanut in here, 2-6-8-2. Burrow, Dak, very strong quarterback room, obviously. Cook, Javonte, Jadarian Price, Jonah Coleman, Dylan Sampson, Nicholas Singleton. So 3 running backs you feel very good about, and then 3 kind of like upside swings, and you got value. You got them all past ADP, which is fun. A couple rookies, second-year guy. Have to see what kind of roles they can create, but all you kind of need is 1 or 2 of these. You don't need all 3. One of them hit your just the top 3 running backs, I think you're fine. 1 of these bottom 3 hit, you're good. 2 of them hit great. 3, it's amazing. T, Chris Godwin, Michael Pittman Jr., Matthew Golden. Kind of similar to me. Technically only 2 receivers in the top 100, but then 2 right behind it. Rashid Shaheed, Travis Hunter, Jalen Naylor, Christian Kirk. So you threw a little bit more volume at it, which I get and I understand. And I like how, I think you're getting some good usable weeks from this bottom group. And then, 2 tight ends, Brock Bowers, David Njoku, great and late. And Njoku, obviously, upside on being potentially in a great offense. All right, let me grab a drink and then we'll get into another draft. And we'll do another Pitbull. I'm going to count it down. I'm going to enter in 10 seconds. Entering in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Oh, nice. What are you guys drafting? Excuse me. Williams scares me a bit in the Chig. Rashard White role are going to eat the short game. Win now mode. Seems likely to grab a receiver to capitalize Daniel's rookie contract window. Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm hoping it's Diggs because, Diggs, Williams, and McLaurin can all be in 3 wide receiver sets. That's my hope. I do agree the price has probably gotten a little high on them, so it's not like my favorite click anymore. I still love the landing spot. I accidentally drafted a puppy roster in this Pitbull. I mean, generally, I'm not going 2 tight end, particularly with Bowers, I think is fine, but 2 quarterback, I think most times I'm going to tack on a 3rd for these. I'm still waiting on 3 people for this Pitbull. Williams at 170 feels rich. I'll wait till Devo Diggs sign and we get camp news. Yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. It's just I don't have any faith on any other receiver on the team right now. So we'll see what they do. Still waiting on 2. I mean, hindsight, Denzel Boston probably has a better path. And, I don't know if I should have weighed the ownership factor between the 2 in this kind of draft. We refresh, but it says still waiting on 2. We'll be interested to see. I know they dropped the satellite, I think it was yesterday, but last couple of weeks they've done, another type of draft and then the Frenchie. This week they still have the Dachshund and Pitbull out, but the puppy is about to fill. So does it mean they drop another draft? Or are they just going to wait on the Frenchie this week? They drop another draft. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a $5 similar one, maybe the German Shepherd type thing. Appreciate that game tight. Smash the like. I love it. We drove a guy named Williams from 170 to 130 last year. Didn't quite work out well in New England. True. I do think Antonio Williams is more NFL ready than Kyle Williams. Antonio Williams, every healthy year at Clemson, he led the team in receiving. And he's just a really good slot receiver. And I was kind of capped to that role, but I think he can be a very good slot receiver. Did I get I'm in a work meeting. Did I get the bird from that last one? The bird? Did you mean me show the board? maybe. I did not, so I effed up there. I can obviously send it to you later. So sorry about that, Mike. I would send the board this time. If the bird is something else, I don't know what. Peanut Punch, get in there, y'all. Water is warm. Yeah, one more to go. Let's fill this thing up. Board review. Damn it, autocorrect. You're just talking about your birds, talking about the ravens too much. I get it. So I will send it to you later. Luckily there's only Peanut and I in that one. So one more to go. Looks like it filled. And I have the 2 spot. Legion is the 4, Peanut the 5, Game Tight the 7, and Kicks the 12. And C Money Miz is in here too. I'm not sure he's in chat. So yeah, this should be a good one. Not gonna mix it up too much there. All right. Nice, Legion. Love it. Sorry, Sladen. Not sure what you're saying here. 12th again, damn it. All right, so we are started. Bijan or Gibbs. Goes Gibbs 1. I'll take Bijan. While waiting, big Best Ball Jeopardy news. Season 2 of Best Ball Jeopardy is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Winner of Season 2 gets $100 UD credits. Nice. So that is super exciting. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. All right. PPR could get more site credits, absolutely. Kicks is at the turn here. Let's see what she does. Okay, I only have 5 puppy drafts left. Gonna need new games soon. Wait a minute. Are you maxed out on everything? I know not Big Dog, but like, and I know not BBM, but did you already max out this, even Field General? Who aims? Yes, PPR versus BBG. That would be pretty funny. $50 Superflex left 2, so that isn't far behind. Wow, I need to catch up. Not maxing the puppy, but I'm definitely gonna max the Field General. We said top 4 from last year, choose around 1 opponent, but would love that. Well, I mean, PPR Tyler could do that. Get rid of divisions. Yeah, we'll have to see if PPR Tyler wants to do that. All right, up in 2. I won't be taking Rashee Rice or Malik Neighbors. Yikes. This feels a lot different here at the turn. Let's go Josh Jacobs. It's the same buy as Bijan, same as last year. They both had week 5 last year. They both have week 11 now. So don't love that, but feels like need to do it. Kyron also is week 11. Not that I expect to get him, but that's 3 big running backs all in the same week. So George Pickens, that seems like my pick here. All right. So 2 running backs, receiver. I feel as much as I love Bijan, I definitely don't love having 2 running backs from the same buy. And George Pickens, I feel, is actually better in other formats, or not formats, but other types of contests where he's a bit more spike weeky, I think. So don't love this start. Hopefully this still works, but I do think your types of players are important for this for contest selection. Early second, beginning of the 3rd round feels so flat. Yeah, especially now with the Rice and Neighbors, like those guys falling down, it doesn't feel great. I agree with you. So Meg is saying PPR who finished second, so they would have a chance. Choice 1 get BBG because Candyman would seem slowing for and choose him. Early 3rd Nico is a smash every time for me. Yeah. You do my first Dachshund at some point. Yeah. And Williams was right on that. When that first came out, it had it was like 15, 16% the first day. And I said, oh, this is going to fill by the weekend. Because that was, May 4th. And right, I'm pretty sure it was May 4th. And since then, it's just been a crawl. In part because I think a lot of people jumped on it very quickly. I'm done, but I kind of waited a week. I think a lot of people just threw their 4 bullets at it. I'm guessing FK is one of those, which there's dozens of us. But no, Williams was right that it's going to be open a while. I'm a little surprised because I think there are enough people drafting right now, and you'd think that you'd get enough to do. Even not even 4, but even people going in 2 entries, 3 entries. It'd be at a quicker fill rate. All right, up in a couple picks, and I'll get back to chat. I think I go Monty here. JMO is fine. I think I'm going to prefer Terry. Sometimes Jane can come back. That'd be incredible, obviously. But if not, I think Terry is a great pick at pick 50. The upside potential in this role, even if they add a Diggs or whoever, I think Terry is very fine. And my exposures of the few guys I like in that spot are, per Clint Kubiak about Brock. Brock is a football robot from heaven. High praise, huh? Literally. Okay. A football robot from heaven. Unless the Wiener Dog contest stretches out to June 1st, there isn't going to be anything really actual to mess it up. I'm spacing my docs into the fill rate. I have 2 left. No, that is a smart way to play it. For sure. It's weird. Like, I know the Dachshund is bigger than what's the Hound Dog last year, but the Hound Dog, which was a $6 contest, I think that was a 5 entry. I want to say it's a 5 max entry, but it's not that much bigger. So that filled within 3 days, and there have been other contests of similar size. And again, the entry fee not being that much more drastic. Now some make sense, like the German Shepherd, that's a 20 max. So, it's only 20 some thousand entries. It just takes a handful of people. But like the Pug, that's a 3 max $12 contest. I want to say they did a smaller version of the Pug later in the year. But I think the Pug won. I'd have to go back and look. But I don't know, like 15K entries, something like that. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I thought it was fairly big, if not a little bigger. And again, I know that's less than the Dachshund, but it's 1 less entry per person. So definitely am a little surprised that it's not filling quicker. But I also don't think Underdog necessarily minds, because it's not like their total fill rates are down. Like, Puppy's about done. Puppy's going to be quicker than it was last year. And that's with more contests out last year. When they launched initially last year, and they did a marathon and sprint, but they only had a large Schnauzer, $3 Schnauzer, which was a 20 max, the Puppy, and of course BBM. And then when it was the Puppy filled, then, and maybe like right before it, but that's when they started doing like the Hound Dog, the Pug, these other contests. And then did the Superflex Puppy kind of right after that. And take Drake May. So I take so much Drake May. It's just these receivers are not inspiring a lot of confidence. I can't take Ramondre. I already have 2 week 11 running backs. Maybe I take Marv here. I think I'd take Marv. I don't have a lot of him. I worry about him at the end of the year. But talent's talent. I still think it plays. And I'm willing to bet on him at his ADP. You're getting a discount because of how last year went overall with Houston. Hit peanut punch addition by subtraction, as well as with guys that left free agency. Yeah. My true dream is any from $5 to $10 $5 to $10 sprint format. Yeah. And this is what I have said before is, yes, I understand not everyone likes the marathon and sprint. I actually don't fully understand why. They have much better ROIs. And not even with the overlay. Like, they just had clearly better ROIs last year. But people were judging it, but at the same time saying, oh, weekly winners filled faster, a limb filled faster. They did, but they're also cheaper. You know, you could do 2 of those for a sprint, a $20 sprint. And, you know, the marathon was $15. So, you know, three of those are 2 marathons, et cetera, et cetera. So it wasn't a fair comparison in my book. I think they all should have been $10. I think that would have been a much more fair comparison. And I'm sure more people would have been in on weekly winners in a limb. I don't doubt that. But I think it would have been much closer. I think those would have filled better if they'd been $10 as well, would be my guess. So, and yeah, if you want to do it $5 to go, you know, I think there's nothing wrong with that either. I think they're, you know, just better forms of drafting, you know, taking away the pod luck for both, and, you know, just putting more money back in the drafters' pockets. Sprint was you're in your 12-person pod, so you know whoever you're drafting with, 2 of 12 advance, and then all the 2 people who advance from the pod, instead of going into different playoff pods of 1 of 6, 1 of 10, 1 of 8, whatever, you're all lumped together, and it's a 3-week sprint to who gets the most points, and not like you're combining, say, Drake May's points over 3 weeks. It could be Drake May handling your week 1, and then Jared Goff your week 2, and Bryce Young's your week 3. You know, your best quarterback each week still is the same, but instead of competing versus a pod each week, you're competing in terms of total points. So the good thing is, like, it's for those teams who, you know, would have finished great, you know, second and not advance week 1, but then have that great run out weeks 2 and 3. That's what it's for, or any of those weeks, honestly. And I'll give an example in 1 second. Don't want to do Lawrence again. Godwin feels in play. Let me make this pick, then I'll get back to chat. All right. Holmes goes. And Fannin. I thought Worthy could get tapped here. I'm going to take Worthy, pull him up as a correlation play with McLaurin, and yeah, I mean, or not McLaurin, New England. So I will, you know, Romeo Dubs there, but I'm fine with just Hunter Henry or whatever. I think Worthy could have just had more value, but back to the sprint format. You know, last year for the Dinger, I think I had 3 semifinals teams still, and maybe 4. I can't remember exactly, but one of them, none of mine made the finals. I think I have 4, but none of them made to the finals. But my one, and I'd have to go back to check the exact number on the Chasing Dingers website. I'm sure it's still there, but my one finished like 15th. There were like 300 some pods, and I finished 15th, but I did not advance because I was behind the guy who finished like 2nd or 3rd that week in terms of total points for that entire week. And so that's a case where a sprint format, I would have been cooking still. Like, have a top 15 week. Does it guarantee me top prize? No, of course not. But I would still been very live and very cooking. But unfortunately, I got knocked out. So that's where the sprint format, I think, is really strong. Got Fantasy Monster in here. Good to see you. Quarterbacks matter. Yes, they do. Slaying, it's the most fun sweat since you have 3 full weeks where you are in one massive pod instead of having any team without Puka dead. Yeah, this is it. Like, because Puka was great that 1 week, but that was kind of it. He was okay the next week, the final week. Very average. Very, very average. So Puka teams were, I'm sure there might have been a couple at the top of the sprint, but it's not like it was every the top 100 had like 50 Puka teams, right? All right, coming back into the 10th round here, I'm staying at 135. Mike asking, with weekly winners, how do you balance lining up bye weeks, avoiding certain bye weeks, or just taking the best available player for your build? To me, what I generally want to do is find about 3 weeks. Like, technically you're in, each lineup you do is in for 17 weeks, but the reality of it is you're not going to compete for 17 games. So I like to, and I'm fine just taking 3 weeks, 3 bye weeks, and it can depend, like, and you kind of see like where I'm at in the draft and all that. But let's just say you choose 6, 8, and 11, and you say those 3 weeks I'm not likely to contend. Maybe I'll have enough to fill out a roster, but I'm not really expecting to contend with this team. And I want 16 of my 18 picks to have those 3 bye weeks. That to me, I think, is the best way to approach it. We'll go Kenneth Gainwell here. Quarterback got thin. I might pull up Malik Willis, just because also, like, Darnold is not a good fit for my team. I think I will. Like, this is a more riskier team than I like to begin with, but we'll take Malik Willis here. So I'm not one, like, I know some people try and pick a certain week and like, I'm going to stack up week 5 and I want the best matchups week 5. You can do that, but it just takes one of those games to go south and you spend all your time stacking for a certain week, and then it matters nothing. Like, you have no shot at it. And then you're probably like, your bye weeks might be more spread out and all that. So like I said, for me, I think the best way to, you can try to do it with only 2 bye weeks. But I think 3 is probably the best way to do it. And so then you're live for 14 games is how I look at it with a lineup. Is it always easy? Always perfect? No. And do I give myself like caveats like if somebody falls a big amount, particularly if I think they have real spike week upside on a good offense, and yeah, I'll take some shots for sure. But I like to kind of punt off 3 for each individual lineup, punt off 3 weeks and go from there. I think another way to approach it, though, off the top of my head, I can't remember. Is it week 11? I think, which is why, kind of stacked up week 11. That's the week with 6 teams on bye. So that's a good week to target of saying, I'm not only am I trying to avoid or, only have roughly 3 bye weeks, but I definitely want to avoid all week 11 players. So I want a full roster for week 11. I did that last year, some with week 8, and I had a good finish. I can't remember how high it was, but I think I had a pretty top 100 finish that week. Again, I didn't do that for every lineup, but doing it a couple times, particularly these weeks where and I think I want to say that week 11 is the only week with 6, but also if you see a week where there's a bunch of like really good offenses that everyone's stacking up, and you say, I'm just going to avoid those offenses for this draft, and then that week where they're all on bye, I got the best values, I got the best upside. I'm really and you can try to say like this particular week I want to find the best matchup that I perceive to be that week, and try and stack it up a little bit, but I wouldn't use that as like an over the top barometer of what I want to do. I really hope UD brings back sprint marathon, even smaller. Love those formats. Steve only has 3% Zayflower, so he doesn't always go off best available players for the build. Am I missing any news? Why is Kittle falling? Meg hasn't been drafting as much, so that correlates with Kittle's ADP going down. All right, I need a tight end here. Let's see if good old batch 9 lets me get likely. That I feel a little bit better with. And we will take Hunter Henry. Different buys, just double checking. So catching up some. Oh, appreciate that, Mike. Take the elite tight end in the back third of the draft. Yes, I do that all the time with Mark Andrews, and used to do with Travis Kelce, which now looks like an absolute smash of an option. All right, coming into the 14th round, I'm seeing it 2452, Legion 2452, Peanut 2461, Game Tight 3541, and Kicks making their picks now. Through 13 rounds, Kicks will be let's see, third quarterback, so 3361. And obviously making 14th round pick as well. So has there been any other news while I've been on stream? Let's see. The Aaron Rodgers news. I see the football robot from heaven for Brock Bowers. Joe Burrow saying this is the most talented roster he's been on since he's been in Cincinnati. I mean, they've made some nice strides on defense. Offensively, I think they're roughly, very, very different, very few differences from what we've seen. So, but we know the offense with Burrow can cook. So hopefully he stays healthy, because if so, it could be a lot of fun. So I'll take Naylor. I'm not going to take Mendoza for this. So Meg's going to be happy. I'm going to pull up Aaron Rodgers here. think having a third quarterback, particularly when it's 3 different buys, just feels really, really good for this format. So far, don't have a stacked piece. Maybe one is coming in like a Bernard or Freiermuth. Also, it matters to me more to ensure my quarterback points than getting the perfect stack. Like people being like, take Jacoby Brissett over Aaron Rodgers here. I don't think that makes sense. I understand I have Marvin Harrison, but Aaron Rodgers is a 17-game starter and probably in a much better offense. So I will choose points. Oh boy, Meg chasing the algorithm. I'll happily pick a sibling fight with you after I saw the toxic tower numbers this week. Oh boy, guys, help me. Yeah, exactly, Mike. I mean, this is a team that went to the Super Bowl, and I think their defense then was pretty good. Lost a lot of pieces. I think this defense is the best it's been in like 3 years, and line's pretty. Like they don't have offensively, they don't have holes, right? Like their receivers are great, their running back's good, set. Like offensive line's pretty good. Tight end is like their thinnest position, and it's fine. Defensively, they still have some holes. I don't think this defense is as good as the one that went to the Super Bowl. And, that offense I thought was pretty good as well. So we'll see. Yeah, I was scared, Meg. That's why I took Aaron Rodgers. Would I eliminate Meg from the contest for $500? Yeah. I mean, if I had the option and Pete asked, I think I would. I know she would for me. So, no, I truly, obviously it's a difference. Like both PPR and BBG are in the contest together. So there's that aspect of it. No, I want Meg to do great. I love how she's grown on CBS Sports Fantasy and, just been doing that for a couple years and continues to grow there. We're happy to keep growing Fanspeak and excited for the future. But if it's a head-to-head contest and we're battling and I have the chance to, maybe get a leg up, I think I would probably eliminate her for $500. All right, we will go Pat Freiermuth here. Actually, I'm going to take Katron Allen first. Maybe I lose Freiermuth. That won't be the end of the world for me. I would rather have a better fifth back, particularly with my top 2 guys having the same buy. Aaron scares me because of age and injury history to project 17 starts, but I get that he's cheap. I mean, the Achilles is the Achilles a couple years ago. I get that. And he's had a couple serious injuries in his career, but last year he missed 1 game, came back from a thumb wrist injury. His play was a little down, but that's just not like a sticky thing. His age, I honestly don't think his play has fallen off too much. Still, last couple of years averaged, coming back from the Achilles, averaged 4.8% touchdown rate. That's very strong. And I think he just now goes into a more open offense. Is he going to compete for the MVP? No. But can he compete to be a top 20 quarterback, top 15 quarterback? 100%. I can take shots at Steven the Rickadoozle role if that would help. Imagine what PPR would do for a Klondike bar. Oh my. I heard DM knew me to ask what the current exchange rate is for site credits. Well, I try to be a good guy. Sweep the leg, Meg. Oh my. Sorry, Steve, to use his 60-second grace period to fade the Steelers. Yeah, no, the numbers aren't bad. All right, coming into the last round, and my favorite drafts are generally when I have wide receivers my last pick. Just because, like, the last one when I did running back, it's just so thin. Receiver generally has some better options, though many of the 18th round guys I like Surratt, the Denver guys, are off the board. A-Rod will dirt the ball before taking a hit too, but I mean, is that a bad thing? Like, yeah, like that's where I'm at, game tight. And I think that's what you're saying is, like, he protects himself. The best ability is availability. So, Vele or Lance last round. I think Vele probably plays more. I mean, Lance might be a spike guy, but I think Vele probably gets more targets, would be my guess. You know, I don't know. Like, Bryce Lance, he's a fun project, but you know, he's a project is the way I look at it. I don't mind Chris Brazell, Mitchell, Wicks. I need to get more Wicks. I mean, I just think speaking of, like, guys who could be a sacrificial X, it could be Dontavian Wicks, and that can still be enough fantasy production, you know, for the 18th round. Like, would Dontavian Wicks be somebody I'd take in the 14th round? No. But 17th, 18th round, yeah, why not? Lance seems like the new Shaheed. I mean, the difference is obviously it's a new offense system. I think Olave and Tyson are just playing a lot of the outside snaps. Vele probably plays some inside. Olave can move inside. Tyson can move inside. But I think Lance, maybe it hits a couple times, like I said. I just think he starts this year as the fourth wide receiver. Maybe he can be a bit more. I just don't know if they want Olave inside as much. You know, we'll see. So I don't think having a little Lance is a bad thing, because I think it's an unknown. He's competing for a job. We'll see what he does. Like, just a perfect example last year, and I was wrong on it. Like, I thought MVS versus Torrey Horton, Torrey Horton would have to beat him out. He did. But then Torrey Horton didn't beat it out enough, then they go trade for a Shaheed. So we'll see. So, all right, I will go over my team. Then I will hit up the teams from chat as well. I go 3-5-7-3. That'll generally be my build for these drafts. I might do one or two tight end teams. But I wouldn't be surprised if all 10 of my teams have 3 quarterbacks. Drake May, Malik Willis, Aaron Rodgers. Put up Willis just because I wasn't loving how the quarterback room or depth was going. I think May can be a stud, be a top 3 quarterback for sure. Willis has big time spike week upside, and Rodgers has good floor. So I think they balance really well together, like Willis and Rodgers. Actually, I think that's like the perfect 2-3 quarterback combo, to be honest. Yeah, at the prices that you're getting, even me pulling them up, 122 and 170, I think that's pretty great. Bijan, Jacobs, only downsides they had the same buy. Other than that, 2 lead backs, pretty unquestionable. Jacobs actually has the better offense. Bijan just the better all-around player. Dave Montgomery, feel really good about him with the Texans. I think the Texans have done a nice job upgrading their offensive line. No, not everyone's in agreement, but I think it will be better. Then Kenny Gainwell, I think it's a fourth running back, particularly for this kind of build when I know I'm going to have a week where my top two guys are out. I wanted some more certainty there. Same adding Katron Allen, prioritize that a little bit more. Didn't want to push it. So I think the running back room is fine. Really the only negative is the two guys having the same bye week. Just going to be a little thin that week in points. So hopefully everyone else is healthy and good to go. Pickens, McLaurin, Marv, Chris Godwin, Xavier Worthy, Jalen Naylor, Dontavian Wicks. I think this is a very solid receiver room. Pickens, McLaurin, both can be like top 15 receivers. Marv, I still think he can make the leap. Chris Godwin, the assumption that Mbuka is the true one, quote unquote, I think is just a little off. Like Chris Godwin has a history here. Him and Baker a couple years ago were really good. Zach Robinson is somebody who definitely has prioritized the slot. Comes from that McVay tree, which also, of course, Liam Cohen comes from. So I think Chris Godwin could see a lot of targets this year. That's my hope. And of course, Xavier Worthy on the news that we've gotten. Jalen Naylor and Dontavian Wicks. I think it comes together pretty well. Not a big weak spot in there. You can say like the ceiling case isn't as strong for this format tournament. I'm okay with that. Got a 10-pick fall there. Took Hunter Henry and then took Pat Freiermuth. Solid tight end room. Probably not going to be top 3 among tight end points, but also probably not bottom 6 is the way I look at it. So Legion 2673. Double tapped the earlier quarterbacks. I know he's high on both. Lamar and Hurts. That feels good. Jeremiah Love, Scattaboo, J.K. Dobbins, Jordan Mason. That's like your core. Tank Bigsby, one of the better handcuff guys. Emma Johnson, another probably pretty good handcuff guy. Very strong running back room. A couple like more, rooms that need to get sorted out. Denver and Minnesota, but I think you got touchdown guys in there, and that's always a good, safe way to get a good floor. Chase Olave, Mekhi Lemon, Michael Pittman Jr., Romeo Doubs, Debo, Elijah Surratt, top to bottom, very strong wide receiver room. 4 in the top 100. Romeo not far behind. Debo could be picked at pick 100 if he goes to the Chiefs, right? Like where's his ADP going to go if he goes to the Chiefs? It's going to go up there, particularly if Rice is cut or suspended. And then love the late Surratt pick. Dallas Goedert, Brenton Strange, Mike Gesicki. 3 very viable late tight ends. A lot of, Gesicki is going to be a spike week guy. Strange, I think, just is way undervalued. Goddard also undervalued, and especially with Hurts, feels good there. Peanut in here, 3672. Caleb Darnold, Kirk Cousins, so tacked on Cousins late. But I think Cousins adds a fair bit of value in just potentially getting this team to advance. And, this is going to be a tough room, so that's going to be important. Travis Etienne, Tony Pollard, Blake Corum, JCM, Nicholas Singleton, Braylon Allen. Threw a little volume at it. Like Travis Etienne, probably the only guy you can fully count on. Pollard, I think, is pretty good as well. But then Corum's going to be hit or miss. JCM's probably hit or miss. Singleton, Braylon Allen, just got to see what kind of roles they can carve out. I think there's enough running back firepower there. It's just you're going to need it to kind of, you can't have Corum and JCM and everyone like be misses on the same week. But yeah, I mean, Corum is arguably the best contingent upside because anything happens to Kyron, which I hope not, given my Kyron bags. I think Corum just fills in that role. He ends up being like a 200 point plus guy. So overall, he'll have multiple weeks where he hits, but really, you could argue has the best contingent upside. JSN, Luther Burden, Jameson Williams, Matthew Golden, Rashid Shaheed, Trey Tucker, and Jalen McMillan. Don't really see a weak spot in the wide receiver room. Yes, he took some, spiky or weak guys and like Burden, Williams, Golden, and Shaheed, but there's enough of them there. I think Tucker and McMillan, I think it's good that you took guys soon after and didn't just rely on like all these spike week plays. So, a guy like McMillan, I think is going to be a solid number 3 receiver. Trey Tucker, probably number 1 or number 2. So they can help cover you, and then the spike weeks can obviously, particularly if they balance out, really push you through. Great and late at tight end with Bowers and Otten. I think Otten is the perfect like chaperone, guy for Bowers to cover his bye and to handle, any, the couple weeks where Bowers might have a really down week. And then I think Kix was the only other Fanspeak member. I know Game Squad or Game Tight was in here, but I don't think is a member. So I'll go over Kix team, and then actually real quick, let me go over the board. It's on Mike. Shout that out. And while I do that, I'll just acknowledge, because I do appreciate everyone drafting for us. And also love the screen name No Soup for You. Big Seinfeld fan. Game Tight went 3-5-7-3. Game Tight went 3-5-7-3. Let me just make sure you get the whole board. And started with a Jefferson, Hampton, Jameson Williams, Ladd McConkey. So 2-2 to start. Very, very fun team. Kicks here 3-6-7-2. Josh Allen, Jordan Love, Bryce Young. Talked about before, not just for these builds, but honestly in general, I think a lot of people are going to build Josh Allen and Lamar as 2 quarterback teams. I think one way to make yourself more unique is to go 3 quarterbacks, particularly Allen not having the greatest playoff schedule. Just the chance that he could have a blowout game in there. We've seen it before, where it's tanked, Allen teams. So I like doing that, and especially in this format where advancing also matters quite a bit. Kenneth Walker, Derrick Henry, Kyle Monangai, Taj Spears, Alvin Kamara, Ray Davis. I hope Alvin Kamara is good to go because of my 20+%. But no, double elite running back. Kyle Monangai is a good 3rd option here. Similar to Corum, but probably has more week in, week out usable weeks. But then plenty of upside if anything were to happen to Swift as well. Taj Spears, I think, is the number 2 back. Alvin Kamara, I think, is the number 2 back, and both with pass catching upside. And then Ray Davis, really only a handcuff, but one of the best out there. So I think, fine 6th running back here, right? 7 receivers: T-Mac, Christian Watson, Carnell Tate, Ricky P. So 4 in the top 100, plus Casey Concepcion. That feels very strong. At another rookie, Omar Cooper. Omar Cooper in that range, I think is good, can pay off. And then Trey Harris, who is a guy I really like. I think he goes way too late. I think the gap between him and QJ is just a bit too much. That camp battle could end up being much closer than I think people give it credit for. And then Don Kincaid, Greg Dulcich. I would worry a little bit about the tight end room overall, just with Kincaid, some of the injury history and things that they've talked about. And then Dulcich is, it's not like the most secure role, but the only real note I'd have is the tight ends being a little thin. Hopefully that doesn't hurt you. I get the Kincaid pick. It's just I think I'm doing Kincaid mainly in 3 tight end builds. So overall, really good team. Really appreciate everyone drafting. Let me hit up chat. We'll get out of here. Sorry. Sorry, Kix, I saw what you said. Nice squad, Steve. Not one for the Stack Bros, though. Yeah. It honestly wasn't my favorite. I liked my first team way better overall. Legion saying I would never pass on 7th round hurts. I get that. Frizzle, hey, how's it going? Hope all is well. Doing good. Got up into start Dynasty League. That includes kickers and defenses. You don't have a defense in mind to target. It's so tough because from like a dynasty perspective, because defenses can change year in, year out. I mean, Texans are the number one and they're young, should be good to go for the future. A team like Minnesota, like Brian Flores, could be gone after this year. They're a little older. Same with like the Steelers, Bills, Chiefs. Those teams have looked good, but don't feel great. I'd say the Rams are a pretty good one. They just added a couple pieces who should be there for a couple years. They had a young core with like Verse and Brandon Fisk and a couple other guys. So I'd say the Rams are another good one, but Texans I think are the clear number one. I got you, Mike. Agreed. My team needs a lot to go its way. Thank you. But no, I appreciate everyone for drafting. It's going to be a tough room. I did show the board for Mike. Sorry, Kix. Saw that note late. I will be getting my membership. Can you summarize benefits real quick when you get a chance? Appreciate all the content you and Meg put out. So yeah, Game Tight, absolutely. So the benefits are we do at least two extra shows a week. Team reviews for every team you're drafting with us, of course. The emojis, those kind of things as well. But the big thing is also everyone who's a member who drafts with us. This is why Mike asked for the board. We are going to be doing a contest where people who draft with us can accumulate points, and we will do some giveaways at the end of the year, some prizes at the end of the year for the leaders. So that's another benefit as well. But the big thing is 2 extra shows per week, usually one live, one taped. And, there might be some weeks, particularly when we really get into the best ball summer, where we are doing even more than that as well. So thank you so much, Game Tight. And really always appreciate seeing you in chat and all your support. Trey Harris is that approved. Nice. When Boxer? Yeah, that's a great question. I know Meg is looking forward to the Boxer. When Boxer for sure. So, all right, we will get out of here. I will not have an afternoon stream tomorrow. I'll be on with Meg tomorrow night for Sibling Showdown. She apparently wants to pick a fight with me, so you guys can all pray for me. But no, it's always fun. Like I do enjoy those shows with Meg. My blood pressure raises for sure. I think I definitely need a bourbon tomorrow, so I'm going to have to remember that. But no, hope everyone has a great rest of the day. Enjoy drafting. I will catch you tomorrow. Sibling Showdown tomorrow night. And we'll see if Underdog releases anything else in the meantime. Peace.